Hey guys, what's up? I haven't uploaded in a while. There's some reasons for that. A big one is I just really haven't had anything major to say, but I guess over the past month I have learned a few things, so I'm gonna try to touch up on some of those, or touch on some of those, and just like personal life, things are going. Uh, I mean, my mental health is improving, and I've been able to put more energy in other things that I would rather be doing. So that's a huge plus for me. Um, but yeah, so Hades Pons. This guy beat me once, and then I took the next two on him because yes. So one thing I was tending to do on this map because there's so much metal, I would just only build solar, but there's like a time and a place for it. And then I was watching a replay and I saw that like sometimes people, when they open bots, they double up on cons. I didn't really understand that. Another thing is that I'm always getting frustrated that I'm behind on army value. I can get into some reasons why that happens. In fact, let's watch the first one first. Uh, this will help me explain it better. Um, yeah, I mean, I think you can see my OS went down. I haven't been playing as much, and I make dumb mistakes, and yada yada yada. I just haven't been playing as much, but I think I'm still improving. But it's more like a mechanic. Like you play the game, you just get better at playing the game. And these videos are more about the heady sort of stuff. Like you still have to put in the work in and learn the mechanics. So hopefully I didn't screw up too bad on this one. Yeah, so I wasn't making too many. This time the wind was horrible, so I was thinking maybe I should build solar. But the way this one started out, I've also been a little bit more willing to make grunts earlier on. This is Hades Pons, and I just watched a replay, and a lot of people, X Factor was one of them. I think it was X Factor. He put this radar tower here, which, I mean, is a great spot to put it. The more perplexing thing was that he was doubling up on cons, and this one I was just like didn't fully commit to the bit. And then I'm. This is why you don't go solar right here. This is what happened. I'm bottomed out on metal right now. For some reason, it doesn't quite display that on the bottom, but oh, that's because I got this mixed up. I went full wind, and then I'm not bottomed out on metal, so that's the good thing. What happens is when you build solar, you blow through your metal really quick, and you just don't have that. You don't have that metal to spend on another thing. So I was considering in my mind later that if I really wanted to micromanage this, you could open solar and then eat the solar and then make more wins if you want. I tend to, when I'm out of metal, I will send my commander out to take metal, but that's you'll have to later either bring the commander back or uh, it's like well, we'll get to this part. It's about 5 minutes or maybe like 7 minutes. It kind of depends. I guess it really depends on the wind availability, but most maps it's like about 5 minutes. You're just because light tanks are so. I'm gonna keep saying this until they fix this. Light tanks, the cost of them is just stupidly imbalanced compared to bots. So if you don't do it, you're just gonna get overwhelmed. All other things could be equal, but they built light tanks, and you just continue making grunts, you lose. And that was part of the contributing things why I lost on this one. Other thing was I think I forgot to put my cons on high priority. So you'll see that will compound pretty quickly if I don't remedy that. So the point of doubling up the cons, and I learned this in a later match, is that you can build the static defense much quicker. But I've always been I like the idea of naked expanding and just defending with units. Maybe if you're like gonna play perfect, but I don't play perfect. Plus the turrets are really good and just free up your APM for other things. So this is my first big major mistake, is that I sent all these grunts out, and people call this attacking blindly. And also, I just was not watching, so I end up just like losing all of these units because I'm not really paying attention. I thought I was. The problem with this is I'm attacking into him, into his radar, so he's gonna know where my units are at all times, and can come up with a much better response, and he's closer to his factory. So these are just gonna die, and then once they die, he can just eat them or res them. And usually resing is, well, I've said this before, it's very situational, but if you can res, you should res. If you need the metal or don't have time to res, then that's when you eat. So actually this is turning out pretty well for me, but I didn't commit to the. I thought I would just double up cons over here and then split them. Didn't end up needing to do it because I was being aggressive. So, I mean, I didn't even need the LLT because I was attacking, but this is the major thing that happened here. He switched to building a vehicle factory. Guys, please, please, please go in the options and type in repeat. Auto repeat. Set all your factories to repeat. Please. I hate. It's really annoying when I have to take someone's base and their thing isn't on repeat. Plus, you're gonna find yourself with idle factories otherwise, unless you queue up 500 units, I guess. You just hold you queue up the unit that you want and you hold Alt and to add in cons and stuff. It'll just build it once in the front of the queue, and then I highly recommend doing that. I don't really see any reason why you wouldn't, as long as like you understand how the queue works and all that. So yeah, this was going great. Well, not entirely great, but I lost all these units, and then my base building was kind of crap because I guess I wasn't thinking about this. I didn't plan ahead. These con turrets I could have put here if I just left space for them. And now these constructors have to go over here and walk over here to build the con turret. But like, yeah, it's pretty even right now. But I continued making grunts. For every one grunt I make, he's gonna get one incisor. An incisor's worth about 2 grunts. So it's pretty dumb. It's really dumb, and I just don't see like any reason how that's justified, like when thinking of balance. So I'm just gonna lose because I didn't switch, basically, and I went pretty hard into I made too much construction, or too much at once here. Not enough units. I actually like blew through all of my metal, and I lost all of my expansions because of it. And I'm just gonna kind of die, and I tried to hold on as long as I could. I had all these air cons. I was feeling pretty good, but you know, he already has all of his mechs established. Um, and he's just gonna keep sending wave after wave until he gets wise to the air cons and everything else. But yeah, but depending on the map, between 5 and 7 minutes, build start building light tanks, and between 8 to 10 is when you start making air. If you want to think about like more specifically what's the actual decision making there, it's when do you transition to vehicles? When you have enough metal income to do it. You'll spend your metal twice as quickly that way, with roughly about the same amount of energy cost, which is why if you don't do it, you just win by default, because a very silly balance choice. And same with air. Once you ramp up enough energy, that's when you build a bunch of. That's when you make a scout and go bomb them if you're winning. Or shuriken or all sorts of things. But yeah, the decision making on making that factory is when you have the energy to afford it, basically. Here's the second one. I got a little. I don't even remember what I watched the replay, and then I looked at the build order. I doubled up the cons. I realized that I sent a bunch of my units out to die, so I pivoted to playing more defensively and committed to the 2 con bit, or expanding with 2 cons together bit. Open with 2 solar. That's fine. Now from here I'm bottomed out on metal, so what do I do? What should I do? So he still has metal in the bank. I think this is a mistake. This is a really big map. Maybe if you open up vehicles, but and your arm, you can be a little bit more aggressive, I think, because the units get to their destination faster. I don't have much to say on that discussion. I'm not a huge fan of res bots anymore to get extra energy. Like, let's look at this energy produce. He's only 1,000 ahead of me. I see. So I got this energy. This was another one. Energy storage up as soon as you can. So when you start floating, build an energy storage. That's when you start building con turrets. And then when you have the con turret up, you can make more constructors and just have the con turret assist the windmills around it or whatever else. But on this map, like, if it's just taking way too long, I'd say one thing you can do on these maps that are just absolutely huge with a huge amount of metal that you can't possibly spend, that's when you build solar on a wind map. But that'll be a specific part of the game where, like, in the beginning, I would have preferred to. I might experiment with this. Like, now I have all of this. My comm, I have 2 options. I can expand with my comm, which is what I decided to do, I think. But you can actually eat the solar and then replace them with wind. I don't know if that's the right play, but I'm thinking of it as an option now. Or I could eat it and then build more cons, I guess. But this is kind of being aggressive this early. It just depends on the map. The smaller maps you need units earlier. The bigger maps, you don't want to do that because it takes so long to get over there, and And by the time you're over there, I'm already well developed with turrets and stuff. So that's what you'll see here. I see he's not even to my base yet. And this wasn't the best defense. But it was actually like an incredibly good defense at the same time. Also being aggressive earlier on in these big maps, if you look at this, he only made one con. He's assisting his factory. Oh, this the commander's on high priority, assisting the factory while installing metal. You don't ever want to do that. Expanding cons always high priority. Everything else, if you need to be making wind or whatever with your commander, you would be doing that. But this is just like a super aggressive play. This is kind of just like I don't know, a gambit. I don't like is that the word? It's like it's just not a balanced opener. So all these LLT did their job. And he started expanding with his comms, so he actually did catch up on metal income, and now he's making more cons. And so he built this construction, the vehicle plant, but I don't think he can afford this. Definitely. Like if you're stalling on metal, the first thing that you want to be doing is, you're in your mind is, okay, I got to go get more metal. When there's still all these metal spots to take. So yeah, I'll get my. At this point, I am 1.2k ahead, and I'm rezzing all of these bots. And that's kind of how this happened.
Commander died.
And then he had to expand with his comm. He went too far up. And he was just kind of overall losing. So, like, it was kind of a desperation move or something. I don't know. Words. It worked, and it was working well for him until your commander gets caught like that. So if you do expand with your comm, you have to find a comfortable place to stop expanding, build a vehicle factory there, assist it with your comm, and like make a few vehicle constructors to continue expanding down that branch of expansion.
Game started.
I'm committing to the wind again. Wind dropped. I don't have a whole lot to say about that. So, like, my comm ends up being idle for a moment. Just, especially in the beginning, your comm. Oh, I did some really dumb things. I didn't queue up far enough, and then I trapped my comm here, so I had to, like, which is the best path to get my commander out. So it ended up being reclaiming the metal extractor and then replacing it to get my comm out of there. And then I double up the cons. I'm just going to continue making as much wind as I can. And then when I'm at the top here and I can't possibly spend my metal, I should have built an e-storage, but I didn't. So we see this point. Like I did use all that energy, but the construction turret's kind of, I think this early, it's a little kind of dead weight. But I'm bottom out on metal, so I go and I have to start taking metal extractors with it. And I have the con turret there, so it'll allow me the freedom to do that, and I don't even have to worry about going back. But at some point, I guess I make a bunch of LLT. But the idea is here is to, it's going to vary on like the distance between me and the opponent. You don't have to be aggressive with your units so much as you just need them to spot. So if I had these further out, like here, like these choke points, that would be ideal. Just so I know like where he's coming from and I can react to it. And I also want to, like, I zoom in a lot for my base building. I want to get myself more comfortable with base building further and further out. That's going to be like a lot of precision, but you want to see everything. And also the last few days, I definitely have not nearly been looking at my mini map as much as I normally do, which is bad because I don't look at my mini map enough in the first place, which is nuts. Like I don't even want to, like, I've played so much StarCraft 2. I was diamond in StarCraft 2, and then I played Zone Control. So that was a lot of looking at the mini-map. And then I played Planetary Annihilation. I think I peaked at number 2 or something. But basically what I'm saying, I'm like, I played the shit out of these games. And Planetary Annihilation didn't so much have as much mini-map. There was a mod that you could add one. But just a random thought. If you take many year-long breaks, it's almost like I feel like I started from like square one, and I should have been like so much further in my development at playing this game, but I definitely am not as good as I feel like I should be in the amount of time I put into it. I don't know. Like, you get rusty if you don't use a skill. You're gonna kind of like slowly degrade at it over time. Like, maybe the knowledge will still be there, but I don't know. That'd be really interesting. Like, maybe that'll be the next thing I look up is like, what's a neuroscience between like declining skills through unuse or whatever. So I committed to the cons being paired up, and this is like, okay, I don't have to keep my army at home, so I can be more aggressive. I think I wasn't paying too close attention to what he's doing, but I don't really think that title is like even an option on this map. But I mean, look at this. Average wind speed is 10. Title speed is 90 or 50. Windmill costs 43. A title is a windmill and a half. It costs an extra 20 metal. I guess it has e-storage built in. Let's see what the 2100 build power to build. I just don't think it's worth going out of your way for it. So he naked expanded, so I can just like slip through and do damage. So that there was this thing that happened over here. Plus his comm is not in his base anymore. I think because of that, yeah. Whoa. Is the wind low? I would assume that he ran behind on energy. Actually, he did because he built a solar. Remember when you lose mechs and constructors, the first usually the best thing to do is to get a grave robber to replace it. Unless you're losing, then womp womp. They're just gonna keep coming back in bigger and bigger waves once you once you fall behind enough. There's really not a lot of like clever tactical things in this game that you can do against somebody at 40 OS, I guess, is when you stop getting away with stuff, because I've finally like been willing to build air. Like, I avoid it, but I'm starting to use it now. I've been very stubborn about it. I'm finally doing it, because you could lose a unlosable game by just not building air or just not transitioning to vehicles on a map that supports vehicles. So I would imagine that he falls behind on energy, but he's using these solars. Or A-solars, but one of the things about this is you can just make regular solar, and that E can go towards other things. I'm kind of not satisfied with my position looking at this, because he is ahead on energy. But, I mean, I noticed at some point, so I built these con turrets, so. Also, I remember, okay, so he attacked, and these turrets did their job very well. So I just go and res everything that he sends off to me. And he's got, like he normally does, he transitions to a vehicle factory. And then his army value just shoots up. But I'm smart this time, and I also build a vehicle factory. And I'm playing defensively. Other thing is, radar is really good. When you're expanding, I was preferring to build radar instead of LLT, but you need a combination of both. And at this point, I mean, I did get this set of expansions here, and I also got some really good trades against him because he attacked into the turrets, and I was being more defensive. The downside to just like arbitrarily playing defensively is that the other guy may just end up. I mean, you have no idea what he's doing, so it's good to at least scout a little bit and poke around to keep him honest. And you can do that a lot more if you're making LLT without like being super scared, like, oh, I'm gonna move out and lose all my cons. You'll get that feeling because it could happen if you're leaving your cons undefended. So I'm just kind of like slowly closing in on him. And I make some air cons to make sure that I'm trying to grab every last bit of mechs, res everything as I'm pushing in, and it's kind of a done deal. And unless he makes shurikens, I don't really have to worry about this. He does make shurikens, and that'll be like the point I will. Okay, fine, I'll build air again. Air is really energy expensive. We can do one more. That was the second game, right? I'm a little bit confused. Some of this is just stuff that I just now learned. And it's easy to get lazy and just fall back into old habits and find yourself in a decline.
Game started.
2 max, I like to build enough wind to build the third, and then enough wind. It usually ends up being 4 wind before the factory. 1 or 2 max, 1 or 2 wind, and then just enough wind to be a little bit above the amount that you need to build the factory, so that you have about a full bar when it, or you're, I guess, taking advantage of your bar. Is this the same map? I feel like this is the same match. Am I going crazy here? Yeah. Maybe I don't have a whole lot to say about this. Here's one I played against Ubi Vader. This one I didn't closely review, but yeah. We can quickly watch how he completely just wrecked me. He joined the lobby. I'm like, shit. At some point, the replay will start. Eagerly waiting for that to happen.
Game started.
So what does he do? Gets the wind. I think, like, what kind of observations can you make about this map? Well, the wind speed is insanely good. The metal is relatively low and spaced out. So, based on what I know now, I think there should be like a high reliance on con turrets, but also he was using Centurions. Centurions are another unit that get insane value for the energy that you have to invest into them. Also, he's playing ARM, so he's playing ARM bots. Well, he's playing ARM bots and then opens up with ticks and then just ruins my day. So I may have lost that max. I can't remember, but I think I did. Yeah, one of the first things he does is open with a Centurion, which I think is weird. But who am I? I mean, I'm getting wrecked. Also, ARM is so annoying to play against. I'm curious. I think I lost I lost a con. It's like you have to be so vigilant against ARM because the DPS on these things is insane. If you don't keep an eye on it. So I don't really know what can you learn from this? I think the Centurion is 4,200 build power for 270 metal unit, which is like, compared to a pawn or a grunt, I guess, is insanely good for like being able to spend your metal. Same with how much energy you have to spend for it. This game is kind of silly in regards to that. Like, I guess at some point, pawns and grunts were like the only thing you ever build. But I just find like the disparity quite silly. Cause then you get these metas that you have to abide by. Like what is the best unit to build at this single point? He's got 2 cons. Like it's really hard to say. Like, okay, I guess this is kind of even, but I lost a con, so I have to go res it, and then that loses me time building. So he's not, now he gets his turret up before me, and then I'm trying to push, and then I'm losing everything to this Centurion. And then he pushes over there. Like, this is like, I'm just getting completely wrecked. It's not even like a matter of build order. It's like he's just out microing me as well. I couldn't even tell you. Like, I feel like most of the time you don't even have to micro pawn, so you just kind of send them to die, and it's okay. So I got the Centurion, one of the Centurions, but like, and I'm able to res this stuff. Jeez, I'm even ahead on energy. Does he make he doesn't make an e-storage. Maybe it's like the consideration is that this map is so small, like you can't afford these extra things. Jeez, we even both made energy converters. It's just no e-storage for him. It's just kind of interesting. Like, what do you do in this case? Maybe the takeaway is that Centurions are really good on small maps. Like, at this point, I'm happy that I'm hanging on. But, like, even being behind, like, for most of the game, behind one metal extractor, it's a 400 metal difference. I am getting to res things. A big chunk of the difference in armies has been the Centurions. And it looks like I've lost another con. And this is point. Okay, I'm ahead. My priority should be to retake these mechs. Res the mechs and cons. I think this gap is, I guess this isn't gonna last very long, being ahead. He's so far ahead on metal right now. Like, I can res all this stuff, but I'm just gonna get bombed. I can't afford to Yeah.
Battle ended.
Maybe that's what it is. Centurions are insane on small maps. I want to take one more look at it. Oh, another thing that I've learned is Lord Dot was getting mad at me when I was playing with him. He's like, Fusion is trolling. And I was like 4 or 5 V1ing people on it's one of those maps where you have to walk to get a big max. I did really good in that position, but everybody around me was AFK. And I get so the thing is that fusions take forever to build. They're better on energy or metal, but they're like 3 times the build power cost of a regular fusion. I see. So he has cons out before me. I didn't send my grunts out. I have to micro way more. I sent way more to intercept that than I needed to, and then I just had to micro more. Like execution in this game is just like, oh my god, some things happen and you're like, that's not what I wanted to happen. And if you're like me, you crash out and start fucking slamming the desk and bashing your head and shit and screaming and, you know. Bonus match. I've been losing a lot of games. I love Sulphur Springs. I'm trying to get better at Arksum Cats Valley. Yeah, a lot of maps are just like you have specific build orders for them. I played this one earlier. I'll blow through this one and then we're done. I noticed that on I took the one spot that has a cliff here that you have to have air or something to get to. There's a guy that watches my stream. His name is Sixy. Changes his name often. And tells me all the things that I'm doing wrong. And he's always right.
Game paused. Game
So basically, on this map, like on Atheates, he said that it's really important to get your comm up front. So the wind is 9 on this map, so it's a bit underwhelming. It's okay. I think like I overbuilt cons a whole lot. I think you can rely a little bit more on solar and 8v8s early on, because you don't have to make nearly as many con turrets, and you can rely on having less units. Don't quote me on it. I'm just talking. But I mean, if you're not, I actually don't have a whole lot to say about this match. So I just get my comm up front, and I'm taking as many mechs as I can, and I'm, it's an 8v8, so I'm going to be confused, like how are we struggling in this situation? Yeah, I was a huge rocket bot hater. I always wanted, I like thugs more.
Commander has fallen.
I'm trying to take as many mechs as I can while getting all the reclaim. And this reclaim is like, okay, I'm pushing right now, so it's a great time to. While I was back here, I was making a solar, by the way. When I bottomed out on metal, I made a bunch of a solar, and then ate the regular solars while making this advanced bot lab. Definitely. I did make a resbot to eat all this metal, and this guy's hidden a centurion back there, which is hilarious. But eating is really important in that when you get to eat and you take the mechs, you can get T2. And it was like, I was like, I'm on T2 and they're losing hard over here. And they also have a T2.
Commander died. Commander died.
I guess I lost my commander.
Commander has fallen.
But right now, I did share this before. I should have upgraded the mechs first, and then shared. I think maybe one of the things that made a huge difference. I don't know if this actually happened, but if my team was the only team that shared T2, that'll.
Commander has fallen.
That in itself can decide the game. It's a bit trolly not to share T2. Unless you think your teammates are dumb, which is, valid. When you share T2, please make sure it's on high priority and queue up maxes. And also, it's gonna stall this guy's eco, which is hilarious. So fiends are really, really good against. I mean, okay, so fiends are garbage combat units, but if you're playing an 8v8 and everyone else is like just not building defenses in their base, it doesn't take a lot to fight off fiends. Like, but if your base is just completely naked, this is what happens. I was kind of frustrated. At first I thought these were sprinters, so I was like, it's fine. But those were not sprinters. Those were hoplites.
Has fallen.
And I'm eating as much as I can. And then the fiends weren't doing too good against the hoplites, so it was sumo time. And sumos are really slow, so I had an air factory at one point and an aircon trying to take these. It was very difficult to take these, but we were on the offensive the entire time, so I was able to defend these without any problem while pushing and getting as much metal as I can. Don't do this. Don't feed your thug line into turrets. High priority on your advanced con and anything assisting it, of course. I'm like at 109 metal a second compared to anyone else in this lobby. The next guy is at 44. Plus I'm eating, which is also going to allow me to make more units and scale harder. So I make the light transport and they will be automatically dropping things off here in a scary place. I wanted to get this base. I had no idea what was here. I thought it was going to be unsafe. This actually, I didn't do much damage over here. Well, I actually did. I got a partially completed fusion. So these sumos, like this guy's like spamming hoplites, so it's time to switch to a beefy, well-rounded unit rather than a raiding unit. And I'll be adjusting my T2 factory rally point so that I'm getting dropped off close, but not like so close that my stuff is in danger of getting shot down. And then I've been finding better ways to get all of my units fighting at once. So usually I just like do one big order. I think you can, if you can find them, like, so these units aren't all, like, some of it's overrun, some of it's not. So they're not all closer to the enemy. So ideally you want to choose a midpoint for all of them to go so that you can get them all in a line where they're centralized and all fighting as a single unit. And not like I have these guys out front and they're getting all the damage. They're doing all the fighting while everyone else is in the back. What you want ideally is to regroup and consolidate. So you find that midpoint. Yes, redundancy in words. And also I made I'm on 5 fusion and I'm willing to make more until there's such a point where I just want to make APHIS now, which would be like, okay, I'm willing to wait sometimes. So if I'm bottom out on metal and I don't need any more units, you can build a fusion. You can also eat a fusion or start building an APHIS and have everything build that at whatever speed your economy can afford, because it's more build power intensive than metal intensive. So you're kind of like not losing out on efficiency nearly as much. Also, you can just eat a fusion to make an APHIS at some point. But you just have to realize that an APHIS is a slower tempo until a certain point in the game. And also, like, I would probably be making a fusion, an APHIS right now because, well, they're probably just going to pork up and more units isn't going to do more damage. I guess I could go for arbiters or whatever. I don't know what's going on. I just know that these units are doing a great job. And I don't necessarily need more. And there's plenty to eat. This is actually like when you have when you have this much metal sitting in the bank, it's time to make more construction turrets. much going on there. This guy was making Vanguard for some reason.
Battle ended.
And that's how you terrorize a noob lobby. Okay. Peace out.